get up, it's time to slam now. We got a real jam going now. Welcome to the Space Jam. Get your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam. This is not the good movie. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Hate It or Love It. I am your host for today, Jeremiah the Rebelist. So today I'm going to be reviewing Space Jam: The New Legacy. Or is it a new generation? Well, I don't give a shit. Well, Space Jam 2. So Space Jam 2 is a sequel to the original and classic Space Jam with Michael Jordan and the Warner Brothers characters. Now this one is LeBron James and the Looney Tunes characters. And let's see, how did I think about it? This movie was not that great. I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? I am not a big LeBron James fan. I don't really like LeBron James. But this movie had nothing to do with me not liking LeBron James. It's the writing and the directing. Whoever wrote this, whoever directed this was like lousy. The writing was just terrible. It was just a terrible film. You know what I mean? Like, the only thing I liked about the film was the actual basketball game. The actual basketball game was very interesting. It was very fun. But the rest of the movie was just... That's how it was. It was just like that. You know, it just takes place... It looks like they stole from Ready Player One and Tron, and they added LeBron and basketball and the Looney Tunes. That's what it looked like. It looked like a cheap ripoff of Tron and Ready Player One. That's what it was, because throughout the movie, there were parts throughout the movie that it was one big Warner Brothers advertisement. We saw all these, like Harry Potter, DC, Batman, Superman. We saw all these like different Warner Brothers properties, cartoons, and all this stuff. And I was just like, okay, it's like I'm watching a ripoff of Ready Player One. Like, for real. Like, this is too much. And then like the whole LeBron thing, like they made it like they showed it was too much like like this was a LeBron infomercial from like Nike or something like that. It was just like it didn't go well. Now the villain in this, played by Don Chino, is called the Algorithm. The way they wrote this in was freaking retarded. Like, it's supposed to be like he is like an algorithm that helps with Warner Brothers and Entertainment Global to try to make, you know, things better, promote things better. So they send LeBron in so they could promote like a merger between LeBron and the WB, because the algorithm is the one that he's like the artificial intelligence that made up the presentation, and LeBron doesn't like it, and then Algie gets all pissed off and stuff like that. And then you got LeBron's son, you know, is mad at LeBron because his son wants to make video games. He likes to make video games. You know, he made a basketball video game. He wants to be a video game creator, and then, you know, LeBron just like, no, you can't be a video game creator. You got to be a basketball player, blah, 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 blah. You know, and all this stupid shit. But, you know, he runs away from his dad and then ends up being in the Warner Brothers, computer server. And then Algie brings him and LeBron in. And then Algie wants LeBron to play him in a basketball game. And he has to get all these players before then, he just wipes out the whole entire existence and has LeBron live in that forever, like we haven't not seen that before. But anyway, and it's not like LeBron was looking for the Looney Tunes characters. He wasn't looking for them. He accidentally fell into the Looney Tunes like world, and then he talks to Bugs Bunny, and then he's like, oh, that means I could get any player. So he wanted to get Superman. He wanted to get King Kong, Batman. He wanted to get all these like other characters, but like Bugs Bunny tricked him into getting his gang back. And it was like, that's not, you know, it was cool how they got the gang back, But when you have LeBron in the mix, it just didn't work. I guess because he's not that great of an actor. You know what I'm saying? That it just didn't work. The vibe wasn't there. It wasn't like, like in the original Space Jam, guy from like Planet X, and he develops the Monstars by taking all the talent from the famous NBA players and stuff like that. So and now Looney Tune characters need help from the best basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan. So that felt more like, I like that, instead of LeBron James didn't really care for the Looney Tunes. It's just that he bumped into the Looney Tunes area, and now Bugs had to trick him into bringing the Looney Tunes onto the team. It just it wasn't it didn't have that fun like the original one did, and it's just the acting. The acting, I'm sorry to say, LeBron cannot act. He had terrible acting, but at the same time, I don't blame him for making this movie terrible. I just blame the directors. This movie had potential. Even if LeBron was in this movie and it had a good script and a good story, this movie would have been a pretty good movie. But it was just terrible. LeBron was very grumpy in this film, grumpy old dad type of thing. And I'm if this is how he acts in real life, no wonder a lot of people don't like it. It's just a terrible film. Some stuff was funny. I did like the rap battle that Porky Pig did. That was pretty cool, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, the basketball game was the only thing interesting. That was the only thing interesting. And it was long. The movie itself was 2 hours long. And getting to that basketball game, I'm just hurry this up. Get to this basketball game. Even my daughter didn't like this film. She didn't like it at all. She liked the original one better, because I had to watch the original one, and she didn't like it at all either. So I just find it it was just a waste of time. Why did they make a sequel? They should have just not make a sequel. Like I said, if they would have had better writers, better directors, this movie would have actually been good, even though that LeBron James is in the film. I think it would have been good if we had a better script. You know what I mean? And it was just, I was just very disappointed in this film. It really was a big letdown to me. And also I listened to the soundtrack, because that was the very first soundtrack I bought when I was a kid. Was the first Space Jam soundtrack, and I love the Space Jam soundtrack. I love the original Space Jam soundtrack. It had all my favorite. You had my favorite rappers together doing the Monstars anthem, Method Man, LL, Busta, they had all the squad in there doing that. That was an ill song. They had Chris Rock, R. Kelly. They had all these good rappers and R&B artists in there, and it was just a really good soundtrack. Now I listened to this new soundtrack, and it was garbage. It was as garbage as the movie. The soundtrack was sucked. There was only a couple of good songs on there, because they had John Legend, which I love John Legend. They had Joyner Lucas, which I really love Joyner Lucas. I like Chance the Rapper's song in that one too. But that's it. All the other songs were just trash. It was just boring. Why didn't you just bring back the original Monstars and the people that did the Monstars song and do a remix of the Goon Squad? You know what I mean? They could have done that. That would have been freaking cool. You know what I'm saying? If I were to make a soundtrack, I would have gotten the original. I would have gotten original Monstars back. You know what I mean? LL, Method Man, Busta Rhymes, Be Real. I would have got them back to do a remix of the songs. I would have kept Joyner Lucas in there. I would have had Logic on there. I would have had freaking NF in there. I would have had a remix to the Space Jam song, like a dubstep remix to the Space Jam song. I would have done all that stuff to put in this soundtrack, but like it was trash, just like the movie. And it's sad, you know. It's sad to have a property, especially as a Space Jam property, which I really enjoyed the original, and to make it like shit, they just shitted on this, and I was very disappointed in that. So, how do I rate this movie? Is it a love? Is it a hate? Or is it something in between? Well, I gotta give it a hate.
Hate it.
I hated this film. I would never watch this film again. The only thing I would watch is the actual game. The actual basketball game. I would skip everything and watch the basketball game. I am glad I saw this on HBO Max. I did not spend the money to go watch this, because if I would have spent the money to go watch this, I would have been pissed. I would ask for a refund. I'm sorry. This movie was bad. Don't go see it. If you didn't care for it, don't go watch it. If you do, watch it on HBO Max. Save your money. All right? So that will be all for today's show. Like, subscribe. Let me know what you thought about Space Jam. The new legacy, new generation, whatever it is. Let me know. Also, make sure you like the video, because it helps the algorithm. It helps me branch out. And also, make sure you share my videos, because that helps me branch out once again. Thank you, and I'll see you when I see you.